What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about where I believe some of these free agents will be going in this upcoming free agency. Free agency does start on March 13th. Tampering period starts on March 11th, so it's coming up very close. So I thought, why not make a video of my predictions of where I believe free agents will go this year. Without further ado, please like, please subscribe. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, and without further ado, let's get on with the video. So, the first one on the list, I think the biggest free agent in this year's free agency is Chris Jones. But the only reason why people are not talking about it too much is because people expect Chris Jones to stay with the Kansas City Chiefs, and I could not agree even more. I think Chris Jones is a Chief for life. He basically said that in the parade when they won. He's going for the three-peat. I think the Chiefs are going to do whatever it takes to keep Chris Jones. Without Chris Jones, that defense is just not that, like, it's not as good as what people say it is without Chris Jones. His impact in that Super Bowl was insane. I don't think they would win without Chris Jones. With that pressure that he had on Brock Purdy in that final play of that overtime play, which made the 49ers have to kick a field goal. Without Chris Jones' pressure, the Kansas City Chiefs would not have won the Super Bowl. So keeping him in Kansas City would be a must for the Chiefs. I know you probably would have to get rid of L'Jarius Sneed because I don't think you can get both their contracts. But if I had to choose between him and L'Jarius Sneed, I'm definitely going with Chris Jones. Number two, Saquon Barkley. Now, I think Saquon Barkley is going to lead the Giants. I think that was obvious. But the one place I think Saquon Barkley is going to go to is the Texans. I think the Texans are a match made in heaven for him. Pairing him up with C.J. Stroud in that backfield, him and Damian Pierce could be a really good running back duo. And then you got Nico Collins, Tank Dell. I think getting another receiver for the Texans would be really good, but getting a running back to really take the pressure off the quarterback of C.J. Stroud would be amazing. I think Barkley would fit insane with the Texans, and they could be one of the best young teams going into the playoffs next season. Number three, Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons, in my opinion, I would love him as a Chicago Bear, but I'm just trying to be realistic here. I don't think the Chicago Bears will go for him. I think someone like the Detroit Lions might go for him because they need a secondary more than what the Chicago Bears need. But I think either the Lions or the Bears might get Justin Simmons. But we'll see. Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins, in my opinion, is either going to two places. He's either staying with the Minnesota Vikings or he's going to Atlanta. There's been rumors that he's bought a house in Atlanta. I don't know how much of that is true, but Atlanta's made it know that Kirk Cousins is their number one option, right? So if a deal does not get done in Minnesota, which I believe the Vikings should not sign Kirk Cousins because they need to rebuild. They need a young quarterback in the building. And I think the more priority for the Minnesota Vikings is to sign Justin Jefferson. Extend Justin Jefferson, your best player. Don't get someone that's like 33 years old and is just almost out of his prime. So I think the Vikings will definitely choose that option, and I think Kirk Cousins will be an Atlanta Falcon, and I'm just excited to see that team with Kirk Cousins. Although I really hope it's Justin Fields, but I think Atlanta would rather have Kirk Cousins than Justin Fields, which makes sense. Kirk Cousins is more proven, but we'll see. The Dolphins, Christian Wilkins. I've been saying this for a while. I think Christian Wilkins is going to be a Chicago Bear. I think he will be a Chicago Bear. He just met with the Chicago Bears like 2 days ago. Christian Wilkins is at it as a Chicago Bear would be amazing. Pair him up with Montez Sweat. That D line would be insane for the Chicago Bears. They need a lot of help in the defensive line. That's probably one of the only weaknesses of the Chicago Bears defense. Even though it got better last year in the last half of the season, getting Christian Wilkins would be an insane move made by Ryan Poles. Next, Titans running back Derrick Henry. I think this is an obvious one. I think people are like saying so many places, but I think Derrick Henry is a Raven. I think he's a Raven. Pair him up with Lamar Jackson. That backfield, that running back duo would be insane. I'm sorry, no one's guarding that. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Yeah, GG's, man. Don't even show up to that game because Derrick Henry's the best running back in the league, and then you have Lamar Jackson, who's the best running quarterback in the league. So pair them up together. Also, Lamar Jackson was MVP. And the Ravens are ready to contend, and I think that's what Derrick Henry wants. He wants to be in a place where he can contend for a Super Bowl. Otherwise, he would probably re-sign with the Titans, but I think that's not going to happen. He's definitely testing free agency, and he's probably going to become a Baltimore Raven. Josh Jacobs, I can see the Chicago Bears going for him, but I'm not going to say Chicago Bears for all of them. Obviously, I would like to have a lot of these players go to the Chicago Bears. But I think a place that like really needs a running back would probably be the I think the LA Chargers with Justin Herbert. Pair him up with Justin Herbert. I think they're going to get rid of Austin Eckler. Get someone that's young. I mean, he's not that. He's pretty young. He's a vet, but he's pretty good as a running back. I think he led the league last year, like not this last year, but 2 years ago in rushing yards. He did have an off year last year, but I think he's a solid running back, and he would definitely help the Chargers. Tyron Smith, Cowboys. I'm actually surprised that he's not. He's on this list. I expect him to re-sign with the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys really need him. The offensive line for the Cowboys was not the best. They need as much offensive line help as possible. So yeah, I definitely see him staying on the Cowboys. Chase Young. I think Chase Young is a Falcon next year. I think he really is. The Falcons are basically a defensive player away from being really good in the defense because, I mean, they got Campbell and then nobody else. So I got him going to the 49ers, but I'm saying not 49ers, the Falcons, but we'll see. But yeah, I think Chase Young's a solid defensive end. The only problem with Chase Young is his injury history, but I think he will overcome that and be a really good asset in Atlanta. Number 10, I think Danielle Hunter. I'm gonna say it. He's gonna be a Chicago Bear. I'm gonna say it again. He's gonna be a Chicago Bear next year. But I think if we get Christian Wilkins, I don't think he'll be a Chicago Bear. So if not, he's a Chicago Bear. Then I think he will be. I don't even know where he'll go if not the Bears. Like I haven't even thought about this. Maybe the Commanders. The only reason why I'm saying the Commanders, and I know why people say, wait, why do they need him? Like they definitely do. They only have Jonathan Allen, and they have probably they have the most money in the NFL when it comes to offseason with cap space. They can definitely give him the best amount of money. But I think if he wants to have a chance of winning, out of the two, the Commanders or the Bears, I would definitely go with the Bears. But I think Commanders is a good option also for Danielle Hunter when it comes to bag chasing. And then I'm gonna just do 5 more, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. Calvin Ridley, I definitely think he can go to the Chiefs. I think Calvin Ridley will go to the Chiefs. The Chiefs need a pretty good veteran wide receiver. I think that's what they needed last year. Even though they won a Super Bowl, like I think getting Calvin Ridley on the Chiefs would be really good. The Ravens, Patrick Queen, I don't even know. Like I think he'll re-sign with the Ravens. I just have a feeling that he will be a Raven because that Ravens defense really needed him, and he was really a good asset for the defense. And I mean, the Ravens defense was last year like number 1 ranked, so I think he'll be a Raven next year. Jordan Brooks, I think he'll also be a Seahawk next year. He was really good. He had over 110 tackles for the team for the past 3 seasons. Yeah, I think the Seahawks need a good linebacker unit. He would definitely suit them. I mean, he's already been a Seahawk, so might as well just stay there. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go over to these 2 more: Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Marquise Brown. I think the Lions. If I'm the Lions, I'm keeping C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He was really good for them this year. Yeah, you definitely need as much secondary help as possible. So yeah, you definitely need to keep the Lions. The Lions need to definitely keep C.J. Gardner-Johnson for sure. And then the Cardinals, I don't think they're going to retain Marquise Brown. I think Marquise Brown would be fantastic on the Green Bay Packers. And I'll tell you exactly why. I think the Green Bay Packers, their wide receiver unit is good, but it's not a bad idea to get someone that's experienced to help those young guys grow. And also, you want to help Jordan Love. Like I think the Jordan Love and the Packers are ready to compete. And getting a veteran wide receiver would really help them. But if they don't, if he doesn't go to the Packers, I think he can go to the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys definitely need a wide receiver too to pair up with CD Lamb, and Marquise Brown would be really good for Dak Prescott because I don't think they have a really good wide receiver too. I just don't believe in Brandon Cooks um or Michael Gallup. So getting like a Marquise Brown to the Cowboys would be really good. But again, or he can stay in Cardinals. I think those are the three teams for him, but we'll see. That's gonna wrap it up for this video. Thank you for watching. Until next time, peace.